My wife called me a pathetic little man. When I asked about the Hickey, she came home from a work retreat, swearing it was just a bug bite. Later, I found out she was cheating with a coworker. I dumped her then and karma hit hard. All right, Reddit. So my wife came home with a Hickey she called a bug bite. After she ditched our 5-year-old's birthday FaceTime to get wasted with her coworker at a company retreat. I documented everything, got primary custody, watched her career implode, grab a chair and enjoy the chaos. I, 30 male, have been married to Addison, 30 female, for 7 years. We met in college, got married at 23, and have a 5-year-old daughter named Riley. On paper, everything looked perfect. Nice house in the suburbs, decent jobs, kid in a good school. Every year, her company does this week-long retreat thing. For the last 3 years, I'd tag along, turn it into a mini vacation, while she did her seminars and networking garbage during the day. We'd hit up nice restaurants at night, maybe catch a show. It worked. This year was different. The retreat was still in Phoenix, but at a resort on the other side of the valley. Riley started having these panic attacks about long trips. New thing. Started about 6 months ago. The pediatrician said it's an adjustment phase. She'll grow out of it. But even a drive across the city with a screaming kid? Hard pass. I told Addison maybe she should skip it this year. Make it a family priority thing. She looked at me like I'd suggested she quit her job. This isn't optional. You know how competitive my field is. Missing the retreat is career-ending. It's literally optional. Says so in the email. Optional the way a funeral is optional. Sure, you can skip it, but everyone notices and judges. The week before she left, something shifted. She was on her phone constantly, smiling at texts, angling the screen away when I walked by. Not obvious enough to call out, but enough to ping my radar. I mentioned it once. You're glued to that thing. Work stuff. The retreat schedule keeps changing. Her ride to the resort left on a Sunday. Addison and I had this system for when either of us traveled. Morning text, afternoon check-in, FaceTime before Riley's bedtime. Simple and keeps everyone connected. Day 1 went fine. Day 2, things got weird. Her texts got shorter, less details. When I'd ask about her day, I'd get busy or tired or can't talk now. The afternoon check-ins disappeared completely. She claimed she never saw my texts, even though I could see she'd read them. Riley's birthday was on day 4 of the retreat, Thursday. We'd planned a whole FaceTime celebration because Addison felt awful about missing it. Riley had been talking about it all week, made her mom a construction paper card. 5 o'clock rolled around, our time. Riley in her birthday dress, cake on the table, streamers we'd hung up together. I texted Addison we were ready. Nothing. Called her. Straight to voicemail. Riley kept asking when mommy was going to call. I kept saying soon, any minute now. Technical difficulties. 40 minutes later, Addison finally texted back, "Can't do the call. People in my room for a networking thing. We'll call tomorrow, promise." I stared at that text for a solid minute. People in her room. At 5 p.m. our time, 6 p.m. hers. On our daughter's birthday. When she'd promised a 10-minute FaceTime call. I typed back, "Riley's been waiting for an hour. I know I'm sorry. This is important for my career. She'll understand." She'll understand? She's 5. I didn't respond. Just told Riley that mommy had an emergency work thing, but would definitely call tomorrow. Riley cried. I spent the next hour trying to salvage what was left of her birthday. Here's the thing that really got under my skin. Addison was posting constantly on social media. Photos, videos, stories, the full documentation package. And in almost every single one, there was this guy, his arm around her shoulders in group photos. I didn't recognize him from previous retreats. I knew most of her coworkers by now. The day before she came home, she called complaining about a bug bite on her neck. Made this huge deal about it. How it hurt. How it looked gross. Maybe she was allergic to dessert insects. Do bug bites usually leave marks like that? I asked. I guess? I don't know. It's annoying. Something in her voice was off. Too defensive for a conversation about a bug bite. When I picked her up, Riley ran to her like she'd been gone for months. Addison picked her up. I grabbed her suitcase, and that's when I saw it. The neck. She'd angled herself so I couldn't see it at first. But when she turned to put Riley down, there it was. That wasn't a bug bite. That was a Hickey. A whole purple-red situation right on her neck, about the size of a quarter. And she'd made sure her hair was covering it. I didn't say anything. Not with Riley bouncing around. But I saw it. And she knew I saw it. The ride home was tense. Addison kept talking, filling every silence with chatter about the retreat. That night, after Riley was asleep, I found Addison in the bathroom with her hair up, staring at the mark on her neck in the mirror. "So, I said from the doorway. That's some bug bite. She met my eyes in the reflection, and for just a second, I saw something that looked like panic. Then it was gone, replaced by irritation. Yeah, it's gross. I'm going to call my doctor tomorrow. Right, because that's definitely what bug bites look like. She turned around, arms crossed. What are you saying, Jake? I'm saying that it looks like a hickey. She laughed. Actually laughed. You think I cheated on you because of a bug bite? That's insane. Then explain it. She pushed past me out of the bathroom. I'm not doing this. I'm exhausted. I just got home, and you're picking a fight over nothing. Our daughter's birthday wasn't nothing. Ignoring my texts wasn't nothing. And that mark on your neck sure isn't nothing. She spun around, and her face had changed. Cold. Dismissive. You know what, Jake? This is pathetic. You're acting like a pathetic little man because I had to work during a work trip. Grow up, pathetic little man. Those 3 words just hung there in the air between us. She grabbed a pillow from the bed. I'm sleeping in the guest room. Talk to me when you're ready to apologize. Addison wore a turtleneck to breakfast the next morning. In August, in Phoenix. Riley noticed first. Mommy, aren't you hot? A little chilly this morning, sweetie. She claimed the house was chilly at 78 degrees. I didn't say anything. Just made Riley's lunch, got her ready for camp, kept my mouth shut. Addison kept glancing at me, waiting for round 2. I didn't give it to her. After I dropped Riley off, I didn't go to work. Called in sick, went back home. Addison was in the shower. Perfect. I opened her laptop. Passwords saved because we'd always trusted each other. Funny how that works. Her social media was still logged in. I went straight to her messages and started searching. Found someone named Brett. Messages going back 3 weeks before the retreat. Casual at first. Work questions, funny memes. Then it shifted. Inside jokes. Him complimenting her energy and how she deserves better. Her eating it up with winky faces and "you're terrible" responses. The retreat messages made my stomach turn. Talking about meeting after sessions. His room having a better view. Him saying she looked incredible in that dress. Her telling him to stop. But you could tell she didn't mean it. I took screenshots of everything. Every flirty message, every late-night conversation, every piece of evidence that would matter in court. Sent them all to my new personal email. Cleared the sent folder on her account so she wouldn't know. Then I checked our personal credit card statements. There it was. 2 charges from the resort bar. One at 11:47 p.m. Another at 1:13 a.m. on Riley's birthday. The night she couldn't FaceTime because of people in her room. She wasn't networking. She was partying with Brett. I photographed the statements, saved them, documented everything. I heard the shower turn off upstairs. Closed the laptop, walked outside like I'd been checking the mail. When Addison came down, she had on another turtleneck. This one was navy blue. You okay? She asked. Just thinking about work stuff. Look, about last night. I didn't mean to snap at you, I was just tired from the trip. It's fine. She left. The second her car pulled out of the driveway, I was back on her laptop. I went through everything systematically. Her email, her cloud storage, her photo backups. Found more pictures from the retreat. Brett's arm around her waist in one. Them laughing together at the hotel bar in another. One where they're definitely closer than coworkers should be. Downloaded all of it. Created a folder labeled Evidence and backed it up in 3 places. My computer, a USB drive, and cloud storage. Next, I wanted a clear picture of what we owned before she could claim otherwise. Then I changed all my passwords. Email, banking, social media, everything. Used a password manager and made them all different. If she tried to access my accounts, she'd be locked out. Then I went to the bank. I walked in at 9:05 a.m. and asked to speak with a manager about separating accounts. I need to open a new checking account in my name only, I told her. And I need to transfer exactly half of our joint savings into it. I moved $32,000 from our joint account into my new solo account. Left the other half for Addison. Fair and clean. Then I had my paycheck direct deposit switched to the new account. Effective immediately. Then I went to a consultation with a divorce attorney. Tell me everything, he said. I laid it out. I want primary physical custody, not joint. That's going to be tough unless you can prove she's unfit or unstable. She chose partying with some guy over calling our 5-year-old on her birthday. That's a start. Riley came home from camp that afternoon. I made her snacks, helped with some coloring, tried to act normal even though I was planning the dismantling of her mother's life. When Addison got home around 6 p.m., we pretended we were still a normal married couple. That night, Sophie called, Addison's sister. Jake, can we meet for coffee? I need to talk to you about something. We met Monday morning at a Starbucks near my office. Sophie looked uncomfortable. I heard about what happened at the retreat. From who? Brett's girlfriend. Well, ex-girlfriend now. She works at the same company. Brett told people he hooked up with a married coworker at the resort. She figured out it was Addison from his social media posts. My hands tightened around my coffee cup. What exactly did he say? That they'd been flirting for weeks. That it finally happened at the retreat. That she's unhappy in her marriage and looking for a way out. Sophie's face fell. I'm so sorry. Addison's my sister, but what she did is inexcusable. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know the truth. And because Riley deserves better than a mother who prioritizes affairs over her own child. I appreciate you telling me. There's more. Addison's been telling people you're controlling, that you're emotionally unavailable. She's building a narrative to make herself the victim. Of course she was. Jake, if you need help with Riley through whatever comes next, I'm here. That little girl shouldn't suffer because of Addison's choices. Thank you. Really. It was a Tuesday night. Sophie had volunteered to be on standby in case Riley needed to come home early, which meant Addison and I were alone in the house for the first time in weeks. She was on the couch scrolling through her phone, probably texting Brett. She'd been glued to that thing even more than usual. I sat down across from her. We need to talk. About what? She didn't even look up. About Brett! Her head snapped up. The color drained from her face. What are you talking about? I'm talking about your affair. The one you've been lying about for weeks. She stood up. Jake, I don't know what you think you know, but sit down. Something in my voice made her freeze. Then she slowly sat back down, but her expression shifted. Not scared. Defensive. Almost annoyed that I'd figured it out. I know everything, I continued. The texts. The phone calls. The nights at the hotel bar while you claimed you were networking. She opened her mouth, closed it, then went on the offensive. Were you spying on me? Going through my phone? That's a violation of my privacy, Jake. You had no right. I had every right. You're my wife. Or were you planning on telling me you were involved with your coworker? It's not like that. Then what's it like? Enlighten me. She stood up again, crossing her arms. You want the truth? Fine. Yes. I got close to Brett. Yes. Things happened at the resort. But you drove me to it. I actually laughed. I drove you to cheat? You've been emotionally unavailable for years. You never appreciate anything I do. My career is important, but you act like it's some hobby I should drop the second Riley needs something. I needed someone who actually valued me. I'm emotionally unavailable? I'm the one who's been here every single day taking care of our daughter, while you've been too busy sending winky faces to Brett. You're being dramatic. Riley waited an hour for you to call on her 5th birthday. An hour, Addison. She cried herself sick. And you chose partying with your affair partner instead. I told you, I had work obligations. You had bar charges at midnight on our personal card? Don't lie to me. Her jaw clenched. So what? You went through my credit card statements too? You're actually insane. She started pacing. This is ridiculous. So I got close to a coworker. So we had a few drinks. That doesn't make me a bad person. She spun around, and her mask fully slipped. The fake remorse vanished. What was left was cold and entitled. Fine. You want the full truth. Brett makes me feel alive. He appreciates me. He sees my potential. You see me as Riley's mom and your wife. That's it. I'm not a person to you. I'm a role. That's some world-class rationalization. It's the truth. I gave up everything for this family. My body, my career momentum, my freedom. And what did I get? A husband who takes me for granted and a kid who won't stop crying. Did you seriously just say that about Riley? Oh, don't act shocked. You know she's exhausting. The panic attacks, the neediness, the constant demands. I can't breathe in this house. Then leave. You don't get to kick me out of my own house? Actually, I think I do. See, I've spent the last 2 weeks documenting everything. Your affair, your lies. I've got screenshots of your messages with Brett. Sophie even gave me a statement about Brett bragging to his girlfriend about hooking up with you. Her face went white, then red. Sophie did what? Your sister has a conscience. Unlike you. That traitor bee! She had no right! Addison's hands were shaking now, but not with shame. With rage. She grabbed her phone like she was going to call someone. You know what? Fine. I'll call Brett right now. At least he doesn't treat me like garbage. Go ahead. Call him. Ask him how he feels now that his girlfriend dumped him, and the entire office knows he's a homewrecker. Ask him if he still thinks you're worth it. She froze. What are you talking about? Brett's girlfriend found out. She told everyone at your company. They know Addison. HR knows. Your boss knows. Everyone knows you were involved with your coworker at a company retreat. You're lying. Am I? Check your work email. I bet there's something from HR waiting for you. She opened her laptop with shaking hands, clicked through to her email. I watched her face go from anger to shock to pure panic. No. Let me guess. They want to meet with you tomorrow morning? She looked up at me with something close to hatred. You did this. You told them. I didn't have to. Brett couldn't keep his mouth shut. He bragged about being with a married co-worker. His girlfriend put the pieces together and reported both of you. Congratulations. You're about to lose your career for a guy who doesn't even want you anymore. She grabbed her purse, her laptop, her phone. Fine. You want the house? Take it. You want Riley? Fine. I'm tired of pretending I want this suburban mom life anyway. You two can have each other. You're abandoning your daughter? I'm walking away from a marriage that's suffocating me. Riley will be fine. She'll get over it. I stared at her. This woman I'd been married to for 7 years. Mother of my child. And I didn't recognize her at all. She slammed the door on her way out. I heard her car start. And just like that, she was gone. I sat in the silence for a minute. The house felt different already. Lighter somehow. Like a weight had been lifted the second her car pulled away. Then I grabbed my phone and called my lawyer. He picked up on the second ring. I didn't waste time with pleasantries. Just told him she took the bait. Admitted everything. Said Riley was exhausting. Said she was tired of pretending to be a suburban mom. And walked out voluntarily. And yeah, I recorded the whole thing. Arizona is one-party consent, he told me. The recording was completely admissible in court. He actually laughed. Told me we were going to destroy her in court. Filed the divorce papers 3 days later. Had Addison served at her parents' house where she'd crawled back to after our blowout. My phone lit up within minutes. She was screaming so loud I had to pull the phone away from my ear. Primary physical custody? Was I insane? How dare I try to take her daughter? The usual hysterical nonsense from someone who just spent the last month proving she didn't actually want said daughter. I kept it simple. Told her Riley deserved stability. When she pulled the "I'm her mother" card, I just said, then act like it, and let that land. She couldn't argue with it, so she hung up. Classic move when you've got nothing. Sophie called me that same afternoon. Addison's parents wanted to meet. They'd heard everything from Addison's meltdown and needed to understand what actually happened. I agreed. Figured getting their side locked down early would only help. We met at their place the next evening. Addison's dad, Richard, opened the door, looking like he'd aged 10 years in a week. Her mom was in the kitchen making coffee nobody would drink. Richard got straight to it. Addison had told them I was trying to steal Riley out of jealousy over her career success. That I'd fabricated evidence. That Sophie had turned against her own sister for no reason. I pulled out my phone and played the recording. The whole thing. Addison calling Riley exhausting. Addison saying she was done pretending to want suburban mom life. Addison admitting the affair and blaming me for it. Her mom actually left the room halfway through. Couldn't listen anymore. Richard sat there stone-faced until it finished. Then he just nodded slowly. Said Addison had been spoiled growing up, and they'd enabled it. Said Riley deserved better than a mother who viewed her as an inconvenience. That testimony never made it to court, but having it in my back pocket changed everything. Addison's own father was willing to side with me. Her lawyer knew it. She knew it. Meanwhile, Brett's life was imploding in real time. His girlfriend hadn't just dumped him. She'd torched every bridge he had at the company. Sent the receipts to HR, screenshots of him bragging about the affair. Photos from the retreat. Even forwarded the messages where he'd called his girlfriend boring compared to his married conquest. Here's where it gets interesting. Brett's termination happened fast, within 48 hours. Why? Because he'd bragged in writing to multiple coworkers, giving HR immediate documented cause. Open and shut. Addison, though, she contested everything. Claimed I'd manipulated her, that the relationship was emotional but not physical, that Brett was lying for attention. So HR did a full investigation, interviewed everyone at the retreat, pulled security footage, checked company credit card records. That process took 2 weeks. The company card charges told the whole story. $300 in room service to Brett's room between midnight and 4 a.m. Their badges showing Addison entering his room at 11:58 p.m. and not leaving until dawn. Hotel staff confirming they saw them together multiple times throughout the week. Her termination letter cited breach of professional conduct, violation of company ethics policy, and inappropriate use of company resources. Same as Brett. No severance, no references. Her career in that industry was finished. She tried claiming discrimination, tried saying she was being punished more harshly because she was a woman. HR pointed out Brett got the exact same punishment for the exact same behavior. She threatened a lawsuit. Her parents talked her out of it after their lawyer explained she'd lose and end up owing legal fees. But it got better. Brett's ex-girlfriend worked in marketing at the same company. She had connections. She made sure every professional network in their industry knew exactly why Brett got canned. His LinkedIn started losing contacts. Job applications went nowhere. Turns out being known as the guy who torpedoed his career for a married coworker isn't marketable. Addison tried reaching out to him after she got fired. Sent him dozens of messages about how they could get through this together. How they'd both made sacrifices for their connection. How maybe this was the universe telling them they were meant to be. He blocked her after message number 8. Guess getting fired and blackballed from your industry over a week-long fling kills the romance pretty quick. The hearing was exactly what I expected. Addison showed up with some family friend lawyer doing her a favor, probably charging discount rates because they knew she was broke. My lawyer showed up with a folder full of evidence. The recording of her calling Riley exhausting. Screenshots of the Brett messages, bank statements from Riley's birthday, showing bar tabs at midnight on our personal card, plus company card charges for room service to Brett's room at 1 a.m. Sophie's written testimony about Brett bragging to his girlfriend. Documentation of every missed visit, every broken promise, every lie. Addison's lawyer did his best. Tried arguing I'd manipulated her, that the recording was under duress, that she'd said things in anger she didn't mean. The judge wasn't having it. She ran through the evidence like she was reading a grocery list. The affair, the missed birthday, the inconsistent visitation, the on-record statement about finding parenting exhausting and not wanting the suburban mom lifestyle. Then she asked Addison point blank if she'd made those statements. Addison tried to backtrack, said she was upset, didn't mean it, but the judge cut her off. Did she or did she not say those things? Yes, but no buts. Primary physical custody to me. Supervised visitation every other weekend for Addison until she could prove consistent involvement in Riley's life. Addison was sobbing in the hallway after. I walked past her without a word. Didn't even make eye contact. Sophie was waiting outside. Asked how it went. I told her I got primary physical custody. She actually teared up with relief. Riley needed this. We both knew it. That night, I sat Riley down and kept it age appropriate. Mommy and Daddy weren't going to be married anymore. She'd live with me. She'd still see Mommy sometimes. Riley asked if Mommy was mad at her. Broke my heart. I told her no, none of this was her fault. Mommy and Daddy just needed to live separately now. She said okay and went back to coloring. Kids process this stuff differently. Sometimes I think they're more resilient than we give them credit for. Over the next few months, I watched Addison's life collapse in real time. She couldn't afford her own place, so she stayed at her parents'. Picked up a waitressing gig at some chain restaurant off the interstate. The kind with too many appetizers and not enough dignity. She showed up for maybe half her supervised visits. Always had an excuse. Work ran late. She was tired. Wasn't feeling well. The usual stuff from someone who never actually wanted to be there in the first place. Eventually, Riley stopped asking about her. Meanwhile, Sophie became a permanent fixture in our lives. She'd help with Riley after school. Stay for dinner. Make everything feel easier. Lighter. Like the house could breathe again. A year after the divorce finalized, I asked Sophie on an actual date. Told her I knew the timing was complicated, but I liked her. A lot. And Riley clearly loved having her around. Sophie smiled and said she liked me too. Loved Riley. Let's do this. That first date turned into a second, then a third. Within 6 months, she'd basically moved in. Riley was thrilled. Kept saying, "Daddy's dating Aunt Sophie," like it was the best plot twist ever. 2 years after my divorce, I proposed to Sophie. Riley helped pick out the ring. Wedding day arrived. Perfect September afternoon, outdoor venue, maybe 50 people. Riley was the flower girl, wearing a white dress she'd picked out herself. She was vibrating with excitement. She was 7 now, happy and thriving. Sophie looked incredible in a simple ivory dress. Nothing over the top, just beautiful and genuine and Sophie. I stood at the altar, waiting for Sophie to walk down the aisle. That's when Addison showed up. She wasn't invited, obviously. Security was supposed to keep her out. But somehow she slipped through, probably claiming to be family. She was in the back, wearing black, like she was at a funeral. Hair wild, makeup smeared like she'd been crying. The music started. Sophie appeared at the end of the aisle. Saw Addison immediately but didn't falter. Just kept walking toward me with this determined look. Sophie reached the altar. The officiant smiled at us, then turned to the small crowd gathered. "We are here today to witness the union of Jake and Sophie in marriage. This is a joyous occasion." He went through the opening remarks. Talked about love and commitment and partnership. The usual wedding script. Then he got to the part everyone dreads. "If anyone has any reason why these two should not be married, speak now or forever hold your peace." Dead silence. For about 2 seconds. Then, Addison shot up from her seat in the back. "I object!" The entire venue went silent. 50 heads turned. Sophie's hand tightened around mine. Addison started moving down the aisle, pointing at us like she was delivering some courtroom closing argument. Her voice cracked with manufactured emotion. "This is wrong. You're all watching a betrayal happen. Sophie, how could you do this to me? That's my husband." I opened my mouth to correct her. Ex-husband. Get it right. But I didn't need to. Because my best man, Alex, who'd been standing next to me with the rings, calmly walked over to the dessert table we'd set up early for photos. Picked up a massive slice of our 3-tier wedding cake. Didn't hesitate. Just walked straight toward Addison with purpose. She didn't even see it coming. Alex wound up like he was throwing a fastball and launched that slice directly at her face. It connected with a wet smack that echoed through the whole venue. Frosting exploded across her forehead, chunks of cake sliding down her cheeks. The black dress was now covered in white buttercream and raspberry filling. Dead silence for 2 seconds. Then the entire wedding burst into laughter. Addison just stood there, stunned, cake dripping off her chin. She tried to say something, sputtering through frosting, but Alex wasn't done. "Nobody wants you here, Addison. You messed up the best thing that ever happened to you, and now you're mad someone else picked it up. Go home." Security finally did their job, moving in to escort her out. She tried to resist, reaching toward me with cake-covered hands, but they weren't gentle about it. Just grabbed her by the arms and started dragging her backward toward the exit. She was screaming the whole way. Something about how I was making a mistake, how she'd given me everything, how Riley needed her real mother. The usual delusional nonsense from someone who'd spent the last year proving she didn't actually want any of that. They got her through the doors. The screaming faded. The venue stayed quiet for another beat. Then Alex turned back to the crowd, still holding a napkin he'd grabbed from the dessert table, and shrugged. "Sorry about that, folks. Had to take out the trash before we could start the party." The place erupted. Cheering, clapping. A few people actually stood up. My Uncle Dave was laughing so hard he had tears running down his face. Sophie's mom looked scandalized, but was trying not to smile. Riley, who'd been standing next to Sophie as the flower girl, looked up at me with wide eyes. I picked her up quick, not wanting her to process too much of what just happened. "It's okay, sweetheart. Mommy just needed to leave. She's going to be fine." Riley nodded, still confused, but the tension broke when Alex walked back over and high-fived me. Sophie was trying not to laugh, failing miserably, her shoulders shaking. "Did that really just happen?" she whispered. "Your sister got caked at our wedding by my best man." "Yeah, that happened. I should feel bad. But you don't. Not even a little bit." The officiant cleared his throat, trying to regain control of the situation. "Well, that was certainly memorable. Shall we continue?" "Absolutely," I said. "We earned this." I kissed Sophie. It was perfect. The crowd erupted in applause again, louder this time, like they were celebrating not just the marriage, but the whole chaotic journey that got us here. The reception was exactly what it should have been. Everyone relaxed after the Addison drama became the Addison comedy. The place lost it. Sophie kissed me again. Riley danced between us. Everything felt right. 6 months into marriage, things settled into a comfortable routine. Sophie officially adopted Riley, which meant Addison had to relinquish her parental rights. She fought it at first. Then her lawyer explained she'd need to show proof of consistent involvement and stable housing. She had neither. She signed the papers. Riley was officially ours. Riley took the news well. "So Aunt Sophie is my real mom now?" "If you want her to be," I said. "I do. She's here all the time anyway. And Mommy never comes anymore." That part was true. Addison had stopped showing up for her supervised visits entirely. Just disappeared from Riley's life like she'd never been there. Last I heard, through the family grapevine, she was still living with her parents, still working as a waitress, still posting bitter social media rants about betrayal and karma. She'd tried dating a few guys. None of them stuck around once they figured out she was unemployed, living with her parents, and had zero custody of her kid. Turns out giving up everything for a coworker fling isn't a great look on dating apps. Meanwhile, Sophie and I were thriving. She got a promotion at her school, assistant principal. I got a raise at work. We took Riley to Disneyland for her 8th birthday. We had a life, a real one, built on honesty and respect and actual partnership. Everything Addison had claimed to want but never bothered to maintain. Riley's in 3rd grade now. Doing great. Happy kid with 2 parents who actually show up. She calls Sophie Mom without hesitation. Addison's just a vague memory at this point. Someone who used to be around but isn't anymore. Sophie and I are talking about having another kid. Riley's excited about being a big sister. Sometimes I think about how different things could have been if Addison had just answered that FaceTime call on Riley's birthday. If she'd chosen her family over a fling with a coworker she barely knew. But she didn't. And honestly, I'm glad she showed me who she really was before I wasted any more years. The house we bought together is ours now. Riley's panic attacks disappeared about 6 months after the divorce. Turns out kids pick up on tension, even when you think you're hiding it. The dog we got last year loves Sophie more than me. Life's good. Addison made her choices. I made mine. And karma? Karma handled the rest. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.